I came home to find over 100 strangers trampling across my lawn, blasting music on my dock, and rifling through my bedroom drawers like my house was a public amusement park. Beer bottles floated in my pool. Teenagers were climbing on my boat, and the woman responsible, our HOA president, stood at the end of my driveway in a floral dress with a clipboard directing the chaos like she was hosting a festival. That was the day I realized my so-called dream home had turned into a battlefield. When I bought my lake mansion, I thought I was buying peace. 50 years old, after decades in the tech world, late nights, endless flights, a life that felt more like hotel lobbies than home. I wanted stillness. And I thought I found it on Lake Norman, a glass-walled house where every sunrise spilled into my living room. I imagined fishing off my private dock, cooking dinner in my own kitchen, maybe finally learning how to sit still. My mother used to say, if you want peace in this life, you'll have to build it with your own 2 hands. When I held those keys, I thought I had. But from the first week there were cracks. Letters from the HOA showed up in my mailbox almost immediately. First about my dock light, apparently it wasn't uniform enough. Then about the color of my deck chairs. Even a note about my fence. At first I shrugged it off. I'd heard HOAs could be picky. But behind those letters was one name that kept repeating: Geraldine Caffrey, the president. I met her one Saturday morning. I was sipping coffee on my porch when she marched straight up my driveway, clipboard tucked under her arm. "You must be Mr. Laird," she said, smiling with her mouth but not her eyes. She didn't shake my hand. She didn't say welcome. She just glanced around like an inspector. "I trust you've received our notices," she said. I nodded. "Good. We maintain a very specific aesthetic here. Those chairs, for example, should be neutral colors. And the dock lighting, well, you've been told about that already." I tried to stay polite. I just moved in. Maybe give me a little time before repainting chairs and changing light bulbs. Her lips tightened. "Of course. But understand, Mr. Laird, our rules apply to everyone." And the way she hit that word, everyone, made it clear she meant me. At first I thought, fine, I'll deal with a pushy HOA president. I didn't expect her to leave cookies at my door. But what I didn't see coming was how far she'd go. It started with rumors. Neighbors would casually mention, "So I hear you're letting the HOA use your house for community events." I'd blink and say, "No, I never said that." They'd laugh awkwardly and change the subject. I didn't think much of it until it became clear Geraldine was planting those ideas on purpose. She saw my house not as mine, but as the neighborhood's trophy. In her mind, it was community property. The first time I confronted her, I'd just heard a couple at the grocery store ask about the big party at my place this summer. I knocked on her door the next morning. "What's this about a party at my house?" I asked. Geraldine didn't even flinch. "It's a community celebration. Your home has the perfect space. Think of it as your chance to integrate." "I never gave you permission," I said. Her smile thinned. "Sometimes it's not about permission. It's about participation." That sentence stuck with me like a thorn. Days later, I started noticing more signs. A rental truck dropping off tents on my street. College kids with clipboards measuring space for parking. Caterers walking up my driveway. Each time I confronted them, they said the same thing. The HOA president hired us. I called my attorney, Victor. "Tell me they can't do this," I said. "You own that property outright, Marcus," he said. "They can't do anything without your consent. Document everything. If they step foot on your land without permission, it's trespassing. Plain and simple." I wanted to believe him. But Geraldine didn't play by the same rules. She played by intimidation. And intimidation has a way of making you question yourself. That week I sat in my living room at night staring at the water, wondering if I should just let it go. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I should participate. Maybe fighting would only make things worse. Everyone in this neighborhood seemed to bow to her. Maybe I was the crazy one for thinking I could push back. But then I remembered my mother's words. Peace doesn't just happen, you build it. And when I pictured her walking through my bedroom, strangers sitting on my dock like it was a public pier, I knew I couldn't roll over. The weekend of the party, I left for a consulting trip in Durham. Geraldine must have thought that meant she had the green light. Because by Saturday night, my sanctuary turned into a carnival ground. Guests poured in, over 100 of them. Cars jammed the driveway, teenagers cannonballed into the pool, women wandered through my closet trying on jackets, music pounded so loud it rattled the windows. And Geraldine. She stood at the top of the drive with her clipboard waving cars and smiling like she was the hostess of the year. I didn't see it in person. I heard about it from a neighbor who texted me, "Big party at your place tonight. Looks wild." My heart dropped. I called Sharon, another neighbor. "What's going on?" I demanded. She hesitated. "Geraldine said it was all cleared with you. Everyone thought you knew." I gripped the steering wheel. "That's my home," I snapped, "not a community center." By the time I got back Sunday, it was too late. My lawn was scarred with tire ruts. Beer bottles rolled in the grass. A banner that read, "Congrats." Dylan flapped from my porch. Inside, the place looked like a frat house exploded. Sofa cushions ripped. Rugs stained. Kitchen a disaster. Upstairs, my bathroom mirror smeared with lipstick shoes on my duvet. Out back, the dock was cracked, the boat cover shredded water pooled on the seats. I just stood there frozen, breathing hard. My dream house looked like a public beach after the 4th of July. That night I called Geraldine. "You broke into my house," I said. "You trashed my property. You had no right." She actually chuckled. "Oh, don't exaggerate. It wasn't breaking in. It was a community event. Everyone had a wonderful time. You should be proud your home brought people together." I clenched my fist. "That's not community. That's trespassing." Her voice went cold. "Careful with your words, Marcus. The HOA has broad discretion over community use. You wouldn't want to be seen as combative so soon after moving in." I hung up before I said something I'd regret. Then I called Victor. "She did it," I said flatly. "Over 100 people. Damages everywhere." "Documented," he said. "Every scratch, every stain. Photos, video. You've got a case." So I did. Flash after flash capturing every violation. The wrecked dock, the ruined rug, the broken furniture. Each photo felt like ammo. And with every click I felt my anger sharpen into resolve. By the end of that week, Victor filed the suit Marcus Laird versus Geraldine Caffrey, the HOA, and every single guest who stepped foot on my property. Over 100 names, $100,000 each. The neighborhood went into shock. Some neighbors panicked, some cursed me under their breath, others quietly admitted Geraldine had gone too far. She called an emergency HOA meeting waving her clipboard like a battle flag. "This is absurd," she told them. "He can't possibly expect to win." It was a harmless gathering. But not everyone bought it anymore. One man shouted from the back, "Easy for you to say you dragged us into this mess." The day of the hearing, the courthouse buzzed like a hive. Neighbors filled the gallery just to watch. Geraldine strutted in pearls on her neck blazer pressed sharp as if she was chairing a meeting instead of defending herself in court. I sat with Victor, calm but seething inside. The judge, a sharp woman with no patience for theatrics, called us to order. Victor presented the evidence photos of my trashed living room statements from neighbors like Sharon and Douglas. Douglas glared at Geraldine on the stand. "I told her it wasn't right," he said. "She told us the HOA had the authority. That's the only reason people went along with it." Geraldine's smile cracked. When the judge asked, "Did Mr. Laird ever give you permission?" Geraldine hesitated too long. "Not explicitly," she whispered. "Not explicitly," the judge pressed. "Or not at all." Her voice faltered. "Not at all." That was the moment. The courtroom shifted. The illusion shattered. The judge's ruling was Swift guilty of trespassing, property damage, unauthorized entry. Damages awarded. Each guest liable. Geraldine orchestrator. Gasps rippled through the room. Some neighbors groaned, some turned red with fury. Geraldine sat frozen, her clipboard slipping from her grip, her reign evaporating in the harsh light of truth. For the first time since this nightmare began, I felt justice. Not joy, not triumph, just justice. Geraldine was removed as HOA president within weeks. The neighborhood fractured lawsuits rippling through every household that had treated my sanctuary like their playground. And me, I finally had my home back. Not perfect, not untouched, but mine. And if there's one thing I learned from all of it, it's this: entitlement dressed up as community spirit is still theft. Boundaries matter, and silence in the face of violation is just permission in disguise.